Hi. Cool.
Hi.
Oh, wonderful. Good to see you, Gathoni.
Hi.
Let's wait a little bit. You can hear me, right?
Yes.
Ah, perfect. Let's just give people some time to join us. And there's quite a few joining us. Just another few seconds.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Mm-hmm.
Hey, everybody. Come on through.
Okay, we have 20, so we can start. Hi, this is Harriet from Harriet's Botanicals, and thank you so much for joining us on this evening. Happy Madaraka Day. And as we had promised, we'll be bringing you more lives, more information, more posts, more information on the products and the people who use them. Today we have Gathoni Mutua with us, who's an actor, a content creator, a creative, and also a wellness advocate. And we're very excited because Gathoni has been using our product, and we really would like to hear real life testimonies from people like her. And please ask all the questions that you would like to ask about Arrowroot and any of our other products. And Gathoni will tell us a little bit more about herself, who she is and what she does. And then we can talk shop about Arrowroot. Thanks.
Lovely. Thanks, Harriet. So as Harriet has said, my name is Gathoni Mutua. Those of you who are coming from my page, obviously you know me, but as she's mentioned, I'm an actor, I'm a content creator, and I do advocate for wellness, especially for creatives. And that's why I thought it would be a wonderful thing to get in touch with people who are on the same trajectory as me. And definitely in the wellness space, that's Harriet Botanicals in this case. So, yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about your background, where you've been acting, what you've been doing the last few years, and just a bit of history for those of us who don't know.
Okay. Yeah, so I've been acting. I studied in the States. After coming back, I began teaching acting. I've taught acting now for on and off for about five years, since like 2016. So maybe that's more like 6-7 years. Yeah, so I've been teaching acting, and then I started acting. Yeah, so I've been acting. I was in Pieces of Us on NTV. I was in This Is Life, which has been on several places. I was also in several different shows here and there, Vashita, Suna Johnny, different shows like that. And now I'm in Single Kiasi, which has just completed its second season. So yeah, that's what I do.
So tell us, Single Kiasi, tell us about what does that mean to be Single Kiasi?
Single Kiasi is a dramatic soap or telenovela for the Kenyan audience. It's adapted from South African and Nigerian shows. And yeah, it's just a show about three girls, their relationships, ups and downs with one another and with suitors in Nairobi. That's what.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what I'd like to find out more is tell us, okay, why you started using Arrowroot, or what were your initial thoughts about traditional medicine, how you found us, how you interacted with the product, in the sense that, you know, people have a lot of ideas and thoughts and maybe misconceptions and myths about traditional medicine. So if you could just tell us a little bit about what you thought of traditional medicine, and then how you found us, how you interacted with us, and then maybe your experience so far and why you would recommend using this particular product or using traditional medicine.
Okay, yeah. I'll start with how I heard about you or found you. A friend of mine who has endometriosis was actually shared about it on her page. Actually, no, she shared about it to me, and then I saw her page as well. And I think I mentioned in one of my videos that it took me probably about a year or probably more just to start considering it, which is, it's like if someone tells you good things and you just are like, yeah, maybe one day I'll try. So
Yeah.
it took me kind of a time to actually start considering it for myself, because people were just skeptical for whatever reason. But it was probably one of the best decisions. I wish I had done it sooner.
Okay.
Reading, I was also brought up very like naturalistic. My mom is one of those women who drinks marubaine religiously. There's always a moringa powder somewhere, a stinging nettle. So grew up very much in that natural, holistic, like herbal tea type of home. So for me, it was very natural to gravitate towards natural products. What that means for me, and what I've understood about the human body, is the fact that the body doesn't always fabricate. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Body doesn't always fabricate everything that it needs. So like that's why we have to take vitamins and like different minerals and supplements and stuff to help the body function as it should. And this is kind of more of a recent, even as I continue to read about it, and so knowing full well that as a woman we have so many things going on in our bodies that I've just known my whole life, these are just things that happen, and there's like, it's just be a woman and just suck it up. So I just kind of was like, okay, it's almost like if you live with like a flu and you just don't know how to take care of it, kind of thing. So it's like,
Okay.
as women, oftentimes you just like, okay, hormones here, hormones there, pain, and you're just UTIs. It's just like very common for you to experience these things, and just like have them come and go like the common cold, but it's really not.
Okay.
And so understanding how like your gut health and everything affects your body has been a very interesting journey for me. And I was, so that's kind of why and how I've kind of gotten into the space. And of course, like I mentioned, because I'm a creative and I advocate for specifically creatives with their wellness, it was very interesting for me to think, okay, it would be nice to not be limited by being a female or by being in pain or having these irregular hormones or, just problems. Yeah, so I just thought it would be nice to have some kind of solution specifically. I know my audience is a lot of creatives and a lot of females, so I think it's like a perfect little moment for, yeah.
So just tell me a little bit. So before you were using Arrowroot, you had your friend who had endometriosis, and did she have a positive experience with the product?
Yeah.
Or what was she saying about the product generally?
Right. Yeah, so she, well, I don't know. I wouldn't say I know everything about endometriosis. Maybe even you can let me know what exactly happened. All I know is that in terms of the symptoms that she was experiencing, I know that there's a lot of pain. I know that there's like irregular menstruation, and takes like sometimes you menstruate for a long time, like 2 weeks or multiple days, which is insane. So for her to say that she's gone from like 2 weeks to like the normal 4 or 5 days of a menstruation, plus for her to say that like instead of taking, as women we take like 4, 5, 6, but as long as the pain is there, you're just popping Panadols like Tic Tacs. And for her, she was saying from going from multiple multiple like pain relievers to just having like one on day one, which is usually the harshest day. And for someone with endometriosis, that's a very, 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 very big deal, because she would be bedridden, Yeah, so it was I feel like it was life-changing for her. So I was like, if someone with such severe symptoms and such a severe condition can find what's the word, relief, yeah, relief, then who am I who complains about day one, day two quite a bit? Who am I not to try and just see whether it's good for me? So yeah.
Okay. So this is great. I mean, we've got some interesting comments. Somebody says it's been 2 months now since I took Harriet and my period cramps disappeared. And somebody's asking how much is the delivery fee in Europe? I think we had one other comment. Says Harriet works wonders. Oh, great. So I suppose what I'd really like to explore with you is what are the misconceptions about traditional medicine? Or if, when people hear things like arorwet or mwarobaine or, well, moringa, those are a little bit more well known. Arorwet is quite recent. And of course, arrowroot is an 8-in-1 decoction. Now, just for those who are just joining us who don't know. And arrowroot is actually a Kipsigis word for Cape ash. That's the English word, or Latin is Acabegia capensis. So there's 8 different trees. And when we say trees, we mean roots also, we mean bark, we mean twigs, we mean components of the tree. And some of them we use more root, others we use more bark, others we use more of the stem. And this 8-in-1 decoction is actually like a trade secret of the Kipsigis. So Kipsigis means to give birth. Sigis means to give birth. And in Kipsigis culture, they believe every woman has the capacity to give birth. Giving birth is your birthright, so to speak. So this particular concoction or decoction is put together. So it's like thousands and thousands and thousands of years old. It is passed from family to family member, usually an aunt to a niece, from a niece maybe to a nephew, from a nephew to a cousin. It doesn't necessarily go mom to daughter or father to son or that kind of thing. For you to be able to dispense traditional medicine, you must actually be able to heal people. So the first thing you will be asked is, kama uko na mkono, were you able to heal the people who came to you? And if yes, then they say you have this particular skill. So, African medicine is holistic. It has a spiritual component, an emotional component, psychological, and the physical. So there is that whole element of you do need to believe in the process. I mean, you then begin to interact with the tree yourself. It's like nature is all around us. And in African plant medicine or traditional medicine, they don't take that tree and then remove certain elements of it, the bioactive components, and then put the medicine in a little tablet and then give it to you. That is where it's completely different. Now, out of these 8, they all do different things. Some are anti-inflammatory. Some are there, and they remove coagulants. Coagulants, including very old blood that's stuck in there, that's going to come out. Some arrowroot itself is for digestive health. It cleans your tummy, and your tummy is mainly bearing down on your uterus or your womb. Then you have the coagulants include scars, regular UTIs, and we are getting UTIs because we've changed our diet. We have so much sugar in our bloodstream or whatever that is changing the pH of our vaginas, making us more prone to UTIs. So recurrent UTIs causes scarring. Once you have scarred, the scars are just staying in there. They're not coming out. So it mats your tubes like this. It travels up again and then into the pelvic area and causes PID, pelvic inflammatory disease. So now around that, when you have PID, it's like there's matted cobwebs in there. So then, of course, you have fibroids because of excess estrogen. You have the other extreme, which is excess androgens, or rather the ones associated with men, excess testosterone, where you don't ovulate, right? So your periods are completely out there. You have 90-day cycles. Your period disappears even for 6 months, and then you grow like a beard, and you might have a bald spot over here, and you just feel as if there's too much male happening to you and you're female. So PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, is one extreme. Then endometriosis is the other extreme. Heavy estrogen, and you're getting your estrogen from all kinds of places. Number one, you're not evacuating estrogen. So have this PCOS, adenomyosis, fibroids, endometriosis are really diseases of you're not evacuating estrogen, it's being reabsorbed, and then fibroids are growing. Or now you're, instead of clearing out your period, you bleed into your organs. That's endometriosis. So you can bleed into your gut, or you can bleed into your lungs, or you just bleed into your womb in a way that it crowds. It crowds so much in there that a baby cannot implant, or even if a baby implants, it can't survive. So then you have miscarriages. And people who tend to have large fibroids can even bleed up to 3 weeks. There are women who bleed for 2 months. They wear adult diapers. Then there's women who have PCOS who don't bleed at all, and it's highly stressful because in as much as you think you're missing your period, sometimes your temperature is too high, or you're feeling uncomfortable, or sometimes you even now experience flushes, hot flushes. So now, as you now go, perimenopause is also related to all these things, hormonal imbalance. You're now going from, you're in your 30s, but your estrogen is dropping, right? Too early. So you're infertile in your 30s. We're getting younger and younger infertile. You begin to experience the hot flushes and the night sweats and the insomnia. And those are a total nightmare. And those can go on into your 40s. I mean, there's women who will sweat like until all their clothes are wet. You're sitting in a meeting, complete sweat. The whole night you're sleeping, suddenly you sweat and you're awake again. It takes you time to sleep. Or now you have, the hot flushes. You just feel this crazy heat. You feel like you're going crazy. That's all hormonal imbalance. So the idea of arorweight, another of the components, is to manage your hormones, increase estrogen or reduce estrogen, reduce testosterone, increase progesterone. That's kind of like the holistic way that it works. So then it also has a natural painkiller, because as you're evacuating, as you're cleaning it all out, the body is cramping like this, and some nerves might be touched, so you will feel pain. Now, if your tummy is full, right, because you don't go to the loo often, you're bloated, or you have too much gas, then there'll be pain, because as it's trying to remove all that, you'd be surprised that there's gas, on your neck over here. That's why when you take arorweight, you find yourself shrinking. You're not actually losing weight, you're losing gas. Gas that was in your back, gas that was in your tummy, gas that was on top here, on top of your belly, on top of your waistline. So then you begin to think, am I shrinking? Am I losing weight? Actually, you're losing waste. All the waste is now being evacuated. So I think I've talked about the hormonal balance, the painkiller, the coagulants. Then for infection, there's something in there that is just to treat infections, so you don't keep getting these same infections every single month. I mean, there was a time when I thought it was normal to have a UTI every month, and I have now discovered actually I don't get UTIs at all myself. I mean, I'm also endo-free because of this very same product, so I don't experience any of those things. I also helped my own early perimenopause, where I was getting the hot flushes, and I don't get hot flushes, I don't get insomnia, I don't get any of that anymore, just by virtue of these products. And that's why I really believe in giving them to every single woman I can get hold of, because 45% of us women struggle with these issues. So that's a bit of background about traditional medicine, and why we call it arorweight, or why we have retained the traditional names, is so people don't cut down the trees for charcoal, and the next generation begins to appreciate what these are. So you're going past, you're like, oh, this is arorweight, this is medicine. You never cut it, and you never interfere with it, type of thing. So we're trying to make sure the next generation, which didn't grow up with these things, right, are now beginning to have that awareness, and hoping to work with other communities so they can tell us the names of these plants in their language and also begin to use them. Now, you'd be surprised that 85% of Kenyans are using traditional medicine, as in the doctor is the last resort. Now we have in the cities, people are now using, the people who used to go to doctors and gynas are now coming to us as the last resort. But we work with gynas, we tell you, go do a CT scan, go do an MRI, go do an ultrasound. What did your gyna say? Because we want to blend the allopathic tradition with the alternative, right? And bring it all together. We work with nurses, we work with psychologists, we work with psychotherapists. We just really want to make sure that everybody is getting looked after in the best possible way. Okay?
Yeah.
So I think that explains a little bit about what the product is like, so to speak. Perhaps you had some other stuff that you'd like us to explore.
Can I just ask a question on that?
Uh-huh.
I was exploring the idea of minerals and supplements, and what is it about? I mean, obviously, it's just not natural to the body to have this plant, or these 8 plants. What is it about arrowroot that is, how do I say, it's supplementary to, I think you've touched on it a bit, but in what ways, like, is it like a vitamin, like something that you have to have that's not built within your body? Like, what are the things that we're not producing that we would need from the product?
Okay, so when it's not, I wouldn't say supplementary, I would say it's complementary, right?
Very right.
So most of these things that are in these products, we used to get them by living naturally. So remember, way before we started even cultivating, before we were cultivating spinach and maize and coffee and tea, we were actually just eating naturally what the animals eat. So if you look at what a goat is the best example, because you will find a goat even climbing an acacia tree to eat the leaves. Now, the acacia tree is medicine, right? A lot of these bitters are medicine. So it used to be natural when you're out in the field grazing the cows, you find some wild berries and you'd eat those wild berries. It was natural to eat wild berries and wild fruits. And at some point, you could chew on a root. Even what we use to brush our teeth is actually medicinal. So you put it in your mouth, you're brushing, you're getting, if it's like anti-inflammatory, if it's an antiseptic, that is entering your mouth. So it's always been, human beings have always lived, in harmony with nature.
Yeah.
So it's like the plants give us, and we also cultivate, or we also, like the fact that seeds are dispersed. You find even by the fact that, you eat a fruit, you throw away the seeds, and then the seeds end up in the soil, and a fruit grows. So it was this balance that we had. So in a sense, if we continue living like that and not introducing anything that is alien to the body, right? Just living a completely holistic, natural lifestyle. If you look at a lot of the plants that we're eating now, many are cultivated and there's monoculture. Whether it's your maize or your wheat, we're eating too much gluten. We now cultivate sugar and we eat sugar. We put sugar, processed sugar. We take our rice and we process it even further. So we are moving from the natural plant to something highly processed and thinking that we're eating food. And of course, this thing that we're eating now is causing all kinds of problems in the body. The body is like an engine, and it's like it works very well when you give it the right things, right? So once you give it the wrong thing, it has to expel it. Some of it remains in the belly, some of it remains, in the wrong places and starts to cause you problem, or it causes flatulence inside it. Right. So I wouldn't necessarily call traditional medicine. I would just say it used to be part of our food. They say food is medicine. Like when you eat sukuma wiki, or let's say when you eat saget or managu, that is actually medicine that you're eating. And it's like your body instinctively knows this is good for me. Or when you have your chicken soup and your body knows you have a deficiency at that particular time, depending on what you've been eating, how you've been living, your stress levels, whether the environment is toxic, and whether the food that you're eating now has any of those nutrients. So then something tells you, I feel a bit denatured, I'm going to have some chicken soup because of what it gives you. So that's how we used to live before, in a sense.
It seems like we were very much in touch. I feel like, and also I'll say as a testimony, I feel like I feel much more in touch with knowing where my body is at, in a sense. Like I feel like I was mentioning about how arrowroot has worked for me, and saying how I would just experience pain. And there are so many things, there's like diarrhea, sometimes it's like vomiting, I mean, just bedridden pain, there's bloating, there's cramps. So there were so many symptoms that I feel like now when I took arrowroot, I started to see the symptoms like individually. So I saw that the pain was going away, and then I felt still bloated, but I felt like I now understood what the bloating was, and I even understood what foods I was taking to aggravate that. Because I'm like, oh yeah, obviously I took that, but because I just knew, day one is horrible, I just expected, I didn't even also pay attention to what I'm doing to make it probably worse. So I think it's an interesting thing that the more, I feel like the more healthy you get, the more you can start to pinpoint and actually feel your body much more.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Exactly. You see, you're now interacting directly with the product yourself and with the plants in that product. So, you talk about like day one. Now, there's a lot of women who have PMS. So the week before, absolute nightmare. Then the 4 days, you're just down, pain, sleeping in bed, rhythm, painkillers. Then after that is recovery. So there's many women, and I used to be one of them, who would lose a significant 2 weeks of their month, every single month. And if you ask them what was going on at that time, they can't remember. You see, because the pain completely takes over everything. You have no idea what's going on with you. But now, what begins to happen with Arorwet is, once it has removed the debris, so to speak, and the toxins and all the stuff that needs to come out, the subtle, now you begin to appreciate the subtle emotions that go with bloating or the way you feel, like PMS. What does it really mean for you? So, I always say this product is transformational. And I mean that you will get in touch with your emotions. You will begin to understand what it is that is irritating you. You will begin to understand why you're angry, because many of us are angry over different things. We may be angry depending on the relationship choices that we have made or the lifestyle choices. We may be angry about our jobs. We may be angry about our relationships. So it's almost like this brings you in touch. And what it does, you begin to then say, every time I feel weird, now that you're in touch with your emotions, you're in touch with who you are, you're getting to know yourself better, you're drinking more water. That's one of the side effects. And we tell you drink 3 to 4 liters of water a day. But you're going to meet people and that person makes you uncomfortable and you step back. You establish your boundaries. Or you're going to be in a situation you're like, this feels really good for me, and you enjoy it more. You open up. So
Right.
that's what's actually going on with you. And in as much as we talk about giving birth and fertility, fertility for me really means creativity, because this is one way you're going to birth so many projects, because we birth babies and maybe we don't birth babies, but we really birth projects. And when a woman's creativity is blocked, you will notice there's a big correspondence to how painful her period is, how angry she is. She can't express herself. So that's what this product does for you. And this is the holistic component of natural medicine. It's completely natural, 100% organic, non-GMO. It comes from virgin forests, places that nobody has been cultivating, no fertilizer has been added. So you get all that goodness from the plant. That's what it does for you. So you're talking about the subtle elements, which normally I tell people, they tell me, okay, what about this? And I'm like, you just wait. Do I have to change my diet? I tell them, no, you don't have to change anything, because this thing will make you change your diet. You will drink more water. You will eat more salads. You will eat more fruit. And you'll begin to say no to certain things that are not good for you, or you will reduce, because you'll be like, okay, I went out the other night and I noticed that nowadays I don't indulge the way I used to do, or I feel like I should drink more water. I feel I should get more sleep. I feel like I should look after myself. And we're like a wellness company, so we're big on all of that. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that you said, like, I feel like I should drink more water. Like, literally, it is, you feel it for
Yeah.
sure. Very interesting. Maybe we should read some.
Yes, I'm just trying to see if Maggie or Great can join us from team leader from Sarit. Let me just invite her, and she can tell us a little bit more. Let's wait and see if she manages to come on. Oh, great. Yes, you were saying? Oh, yeah, let's see if we got more comments. I don't think so. You have just people joining. Someone says, I need to get the product, please.
What about if you have one of the above mentioned and it worked for different issues? Would it affect other hormones which you don't have any problem with?
So the hormonal system works together. I think that's joining us. Maggie,
Sorry.
can you mute?
Sorry, I'm trying to. Oh, sorry.
Oh, perfect.
Hi.
Hey, good to see you, Maggie.
Hi.
So we're here with Gathoni, and we're live. We're having a great conversation. So I thought maybe you can talk a little bit. When I finish answering the question, you can tell us a little bit more about how clients have been interacting with the product from all the range, from PCOS, from all the different things. So what I was saying is, what was I going to say? Yeah, so the hormone system all work together. That's what people need to understand, the endocrine system. So you can't say that it's going to increase estrogen but affect testosterone. No, that's not how. It just balances out all the hormones depending on your body. Okay. Now, we have where are we getting the interruption? The noise?
Sorry, I'm at Italy right now, and it's a bit noisy. People are crowding in the place, so there might be a bit of distractions on my side.
Okay, so maybe what you can tell us is just tell us how clients have been interacting so far with the products, or especially with the different things going on. Give us some feedback.
Okay, so what I can say is we've had positive reviews with the product. Our best seller being the Harriet. We've had many people getting the Harriet for PCOS related issues, for fertility related issues, to balance their hormones, boost their fertility. We've also had positive reviews with the Mosipchot, especially for the anti-inflammatory part. We've had people purchasing it for arthritis, manage the blood pressure, manage the blood sugar, just to purify the blood. We've also had positive reviews with the Tendwet, wives buying for their husbands with gifts, maybe just a detox with the Botanicals. Yeah, positive reviews with the products, yeah.
And so far, when the people who come, have they interacted with traditional medicine, or do they have questions around traditional medicine? Does it need demystifying? That sort of thing.
I think it takes time before people actually accommodate traditional herbs, because people are used to the conventional medicine. So it has taken time, but so far, if I'm to comment on what people say, people are actually shocked that herbal medicine does work.
Okay.
Because, for example, in the hospital, you're told that the only way you can solve, let's say, for example, blocked tubes, it has to be cleaned out. But then you discover there's a herb you can take to actually clean out your tubes, to actually boost your fertility at the same time, and also just increase chances of conception. I'd say people are actually trying to get used to taking herbal medicine. They're just accommodating the fact that herbal medicine does work, and it's actually okay with their system, without trying to think that it's poisonous or something.
Wonderful. So, Gathoni, do you have any questions for Maggie?
Yesterday when we did the opening, by the way, congratulations, Harriet Botanicals team, on opening Business Bay. I have speaking. Can you hear me? Okay. I had been speaking with Sharon at that branch about actually my grandparents, and just talking about Mosipchot for a second. I think she's gone. There's something about I was interested about the diabetes aspect and the whole cleaning out your blood, and I think we'll do another one where we talk maybe more specifically about Mosipchot. But maybe can you touch a bit on that product, and maybe also just, is there a benefit to taking all of them? Do you advise not to take all the products? Like if I just take Mosipchot, Arrowhead, the fertility mix, the immunity mix, is that like how? What's the
So Mosipchot is incredible, because let me tell you, I kept hearing about this product, but I kept ignoring it because I just could not believe, because people kept on saying, why aren't you not doing the one you know, why are you not doing the one for the blood? And I kept on saying, which one? And they say to me, Mosip chart is for blood. And I'm like, no, it's just not possible. So it took me about 2 years. And this plant, I'm telling you, it spoke to me every time I saw it. And then I thought, well, anyway, I'm going to try for myself and see how it goes. So I created the formulation. And then I read more about, and so Mosip chart itself is called lion's ear or clip dagger. And it's used widely and broadly across the world, actually. And the difference now is the little ones, the other ones that we add that are very unique and rare, you know, within the culture, the very rare trees, the very rare shrubs that make up that concoction. Now, what it does is that it acts at a metabolic level. It aids in sort of within the cell, it aids in the metabolic function. Now, metabolic function is like saying in movement. So it enhances movement of different things at cellular level, which is how it evacuates sugar, number one. It helps you, it's like a cardiotonic. So it helps you with your heart because, did you hear what I said? Cardiotonic.
Yeah. So
now it's like it's opening all your arteries and capillaries, allowing your blood to flow better. So of course, if that's happening, it'll lower your blood pressure type of thing. If it's able to evacuate sugar, it means it's dealing with insulin resistance. So now, you know, because we're eating a lot of sugar, people don't understand how much sugar we are consuming on any given day. And when I say sugar, I also mean carbs. So if you're eating 4 chapatis in a day, 2 large ugalis, and then a lot of bread, and then your mahamris, and then sugar again in your tea, soda has sugar. So what's happening is your body is getting fatigued. It cannot remove that sugar, and that's what's causing diabetes type 2. And then now we have, you know, diabetes, gestational diabetes, like when you're pregnant, and then we have diabetes type 3, which is like your Alzheimer's, still to do with sugar kind of like in the brain that hasn't come out. Then you have your arthritis, anything to do with joints is sugar in your joints. So that's what's accumulating. So why Mosip chart is so effective is it just takes it out. It's like, and it's also a diuretic. It cleans the kidneys. So we've been amazed at what this product does. We just can't stop talking about it. Then on top of the fact that now it's very strong on the womb. It says like it brings blood to the womb so it can induce a period very fast, clean you out. So now when I meet women who either have been through a miscarriage or have very large fibroids or, I mean, they're really blocked up, I'll now give them Mosip chart first. I say, let's clean the womb, rapid cleanse, and then we go with Arorate. Because Mosip chart is dangerous if you are pregnant. And this is why we're very particular. Arorate and Mosip chart also you cannot take when you're breastfeeding because you're literally giving a tiny baby these herbs and they are very strong. They are very strong. Yeah. So we're excited that it worked. I mean, for me, I had the joint pain and this and that, and I was like, oh my God, how am I going to deal with this? I'm supposed to be this top herbalist type person, and I still have all these aches. I mean, this is crazy. So I was very excited. No joint pain. My knees are fine. I go up and down those stairs, you know, I'm feeling great and I feel healthy. I feel strong again. You know, I just feel like I've gone back to being 30 again. So, you know, this is what I call the retirement baby, in that you're approaching your 50s, get into Mosip chart now, you know. In life, you can take all these products. I do myself. Actually, as I develop them, I take them. So I take, every time I feel the sniffles, I just drink my Sagawaita, it's gone. Arorwet, I take to maintain my estrogen and also for libido. It's incredible for that. I take my Mosip chart because I do not want to experience hot flushes, joint pain, and all those. And at some point, I even thought I had an underactive thyroid. So it also works on the thyroid. So thyroid comes into play many times for women as they approach menopause. And when your thyroid is underactive, you also get the weight gain. So that's why you think women are like, look, I exercise, I eat so well, but the weight is piling on. You have a hormonal situation going on right there. And that's what we're trying to reverse. So then you have Busareg. If my tummy is hurting, I travel everywhere with my Busareg because I might eat something that I'm not used to. If my tummy is hurting, that's my Busareg right there. I take all the supplements in case I am depleted. I will take my Super Vitality. When I feel I need a boost for my fertility, I will take my Super Fertility. Then for super immunity, immunity, that's just, I put it in my tea, and it has turmeric and ginger and your cinnamon. It just gives it that burst. So I'm actually a huge believer in reversing the effects of aging, living your life so well that you don't get sick. Because what would be the point of you making all this money and then at 50 you're treating diabetes, hypertension, I mean even cancer? So I'm more of prevention is better than cure.
Yeah.
You know, keep the blood clean. You know, keep the cells clean. You know, you just keep now you start drinking more water, eating more vegetables, reveling in the joy of living. Your joints are working, so you can go walking, you can still go running, you can play with your children or your grandkids. That's what Harriet's Botanical is all about. It's about transformation. And of course, Tendweight, even when you don't have a problem, you can take it because, you know, it restores, it brings the tumor back. The tumor is working very well into your 60s, into your 70s, into your 80s, just like our grandparents who are actually able to have children or, you know, have, you know, great sex when they were much older. Okay?
I have a question about when I tried Mosip Chot, and I feel like it was in combination, obviously, with Arrowhead at the time.
Yeah.
What I'm doing now, but I feel like I had a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Is that just a common side effect, or is that like?
Yeah, that is. So that would actually be Arrowhead. Once initially, the first week, you probably felt like sleeping a lot. Now that's now your body is resting, shutting down, saying sleep, as we now prepare for detox, because the first month is detox. Then at some point, the energy and the libido, they go up, and you're up at 4 a.m, you go to bed at 1 and you're not tired.
Yeah.
You know, now you're like, bang, you can do things because now your creativity. You find you can do multiple projects. You're the best person at work. You're so cheerful. You know, you're like, hey, you're happy.
Yeah.
Arrowhead is working. You know, you feel good. You feel attracted to people. People are attracted to you. You've got this vibe. You're charismatic. That's Arrowhead for sure. Now, Mosip Chot is more about like, once it's cleaning the blood, because remember that whatever we have something called cellular memory. So just like the body stores trauma and the body stores memory. So what tends to happen when you take it, as it evacuates, you start having like some type of lucid dreams. You start having some memories. You start thinking about things you never thought about, because we're taking you back to factory settings. We're restoring who you used to be. So if you used to be this amazing person who loved maths, but now you don't love maths anymore, or you love gymming, you find you dropped your hobbies and you're feeling a bit sluggish, and you're not the woman who you used to be, that completely changes now. Now you're back to who you used to be in your 20s, even your teen. And if you were like you loved painting when you were 14, now you're 43 and suddenly you find yourself saying, I'd like to paint again. That's your whole body waking up again, because it's coming back to like the original human.
Yeah.
Love that. I think we had one more a comment here says, especially, okay, somebody says, can someone with throat cancer take any traditional medicine you recommend from your portfolio, especially with weak immunity and cannot afford chemo? So, I mean, obviously, I think anybody with that kind of condition would need to work with their doctors. Remember that we recommend working with your doctor all the time at any point. And we ourselves are working with about 8 gynecologists across the country right now as well. So cancer has so many facets, because, you know, there's like the food side. Your body needs a certain food to replenish. So you need a lot of supplements, and you can get this information everywhere. You can actually take Arrowroot and Mosip Chot for a detox, and then observe what is happening in your body. This is not a substitute for any other treatment for cancer, and we ourselves, we are not yet selling any alternative medicine that treats cancer. Okay, great.
Ogubu says, yes, be careful of what we take in our body. That's why we are conscious about taking herbs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody says, do you have something for arthritis and recurrent sore throats? Yes, I do. We spoke about arthritis here, or joint pain. So we have Mosip Chot that will help you with that. For recurrent sore throats, we have Sagawaita, and Sagawaita actually has Morobaine. So it is made of 4 plants. One of them is Morobaine. Sagawaita itself is English knobwood, and it's known all over Rift Valley. That is what Sagawaita is for homa. It's actually very good even for COVID in the sense of decongesting. It's like it was used to actually treat an ancient what they call flu of the lungs. So when COVID came, people kept on saying, "Is this that flu of the lungs? Is this the flu of the lungs?" And that is how I actually developed that product. Okay.
Oh, so you developed it during COVID, eh?
Yes, because I was locked down in Bomet myself, and we had to pass through all the different checkpoints as we traveled to Kericho. So somebody said, well, we can do something to reduce our temperatures. That is how it started. So I was like, really, there's something like that? Oh, yeah, we always take this and this. So I just put it all together and added my own because of research, all the research you can do, and you can pick up a plant and use your plant up and you say, oh, this is this. What does it do? What are the medicinal properties? What are the pharmacological properties? So with that kind of research, I'm then able to build up a body of knowledge. I can send that knowledge abroad to my friends living in England or living in the US and say, find out what this pharmaceutical element of this plant is. And you'd be surprised that most of these plants are actually being used in allopathic medicine. It's just that for Africans, we don't isolate the bioactive components. Somebody said, how long does it take to arrive in the United States? 7 to 10 days with DHL. You have your product in any part of the world. Okay?
Yeah, there was someone else who also asked about delivery to the States.
Yeah.
So I think I can answer.
Perfect. So I think we've been on for a good 47 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Unless you have any other comments or questions, I'm happy to break at this point because we've covered quite a lot, and it can be a lot of information.
Obviously, maybe you can let them know how to contact you, what happens when we have questions, and how do people come to the branches and talk to the people there, or do we call? Do we go to your page?
So we've been around for 5 years. We have a customer service number that goes to a call center, right? And that number now circulates in all the branches, including the head office or the factory. And then we have a WhatsApp number. And then we have a website, harrietsbotanicals.co.ke. We are all over social media, as in you just Google Harriet's Botanicals, and you will find us. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on TikTok, we're on YouTube, we're on Instagram as we speak. So you can come to our page and you will access all our different branches. We have 14 across the country. Yes, we do have a supplier in the US, and we can give you that information. We are trying to set up a supplier actually in Germany to feed the EU. That's taking a bit of time. But using DHL, you can get your product across the world. We've just done our first bulk sale to Australia. One person bought 10, and they'll be back next week for another 20. So they are distributing in Sydney. So I think just by the nature of this product, people need it. And when they can't find a solution, they'll come to us. They'll be in Turkey saying, look, my tubes have been blocked, or I can't conceive. This is a big problem. I haven't been able to conceive for 17 years. Can you help? And they can use our product in conjunction with other products. We don't say, you can't use this or you can't use that. We'll tell you, definitely do the diet if you must. Do intermittent fasting if you must. Lose the carbs if you must. Juice, yes, juicing is incredible as well. Exercise, do strength training or cardio, whatever helps. Take our supplements. At the same time, take other supplements like your Overcare and your Pregna Care. Whatever hormonal things your doctor is giving us. So some of them are not compatible with us. As an example, letrozole is compatible. Zoladex is not compatible. So because, remember, Arorwet is a fertility treatment. Right. So if the doctor has given you something to induce menopause, Arorwet will override. And there are people who have gotten pregnant with our product who have an IUD. So believe it or not, you could even have twins. If you're not ready for babies, be very careful with this product, including the fact that it will increase your libido, so you'll be asking for it. You'll be going where you're not supposed to go. You said you don't want babies, but this thing will play with you, and the next thing, you're a proud mother of triplets, So we don't want you to mess up your life or to inconvenience your life when you're not ready. So take these things with caution. Is we talk about moringa and morobaini. Well, moringa is like a tea. You can have moringa as a tea or neem tea, but you cannot take our arrowroot decoction as a tea. It is not just tea. It is medicine. Okay? Wonderful. I don't think there's any more comments.
Thanks for the sample. Love
I think we're good to go.
Both. What about Finland? We've talked about the European distribution.
Everywhere. We send this product everywhere. We have an account with DHL, an SME account, and they take our products everywhere. And it took 2 years before they actually accepted it, and before they found a way for it not to be destroyed at the border. So they do all the clearance for us, because that was very important. Remember, something is entering another jurisdiction, and they have rules about what comes and from where. So this is the reason that we have decided to use that particular process. And you can't transport liquids cross-border with the post office.
Right.
But for our supplements, yes, we just put them in the post. Okay? Excellent.
Thank you
okay.
for education. Thank you, Ms. Jess. Thank you all for all of this. Good.
Wonderful. Yeah. So for the supplier in the US, I can put that, I don't know if I put it right now in the comment.
Maybe
or you want me to put it later?
Then we can just put it in the description box.
Yes, later, once we finish the live, so that we don't spend so much time. Okay. Thank you so much, Gathoni. Hope we can chat again, and probably like in a month or so, when you've had more experience with the product and other products, we'll send you more products so we can talk about them, and then we can take it from there again. Thank you so much.
Hey, brother, thank you so much, and I appreciate it. If you guys have any more questions, please don't hesitate to send them messages. Harriet's Botanical, follow them. That tag up there. Go click on them page, follow my page. Ask any questions. We're very happy to answer. And yes, there's also men as well.
Yeah.
So when she mentioned 10, so there's a product for men as well. Anyone and everyone, we have something for you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.